Let's go. I'm Christopher Pitt, and welcome to the Pursuit to Own podcast. At Pursuit to Own, we are pursuing ownership at every level of life. Whether it's mindset, business, life, or real estate, our goal is to get you from renting to owning your future. See, I felt the pain of poverty growing up as a sharecropper in zip code 27843. I understand the struggle of living in a one-bedroom shack, owning nothing, not even running water. But I turned that pain into purpose by becoming a premier affordable housing community developer, providing 27,843 ownership opportunities in marginalized communities. Here's the truth. Ownership starts in your mind, regardless of your situation or location. Whether you are escaping the poverty trap, buying a home, or starting a business, the Pursuit to Own mindset is the key to unlocking your zip code and success. Join me to discuss new innovative ways to own real estate with tokenization, blockchain, crowdfunding, fractional ownership, and so much more. Let's go. All right. Welcome back to the Pursuit to Own podcast. Look, we got a special segment now, guys. You guys want to get into real estate? Well, I got you your real estate, right? We got you your real estate. So this is going to be the segment called Real Talk and Real Estate, powered by Pursuit and Housers. Your host today will be Christopher Pitt and Pamela Debenham Pitt, right? You got the tag team, siblings, superstars in the space. So we get a lot of conversations around real estate, right? Because that's what we do. But the most important one is, where do you start, right? So that's what we're going to start this journey with. Today, we're really going to talk to people that just getting out there, what you should do, new changes in the marketplace, just different type of strategies. But let's get back to the beginning of it. So I'm going to introduce Pam. You want to give a little blurb about who you are, what you're doing, and how we going to make these people homeowners.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pam, definitely been in the real estate industry now for 20 years. So I have served probably over in the thousands with buyers and sellers. I think there's a lot of information out there that buyers are unaware of. So our goal is to make sure that you are prepared when you are starting your journey.
All right. Well, let's just start right there. Starting your journey, because I see people do this. In my opinion, I don't think it's the best route. So here's what I see a lot of people do. They get that feeling, right? Mm-hmm. I want to buy a house. They talk to someone. They looked at something on TV, and man, they're in the cars. They're in the cars. They're in the neighborhoods. They're in the Starbucks. They're living there. Like mentally, they are living there, but they haven't did any really research or to figure out how to actually buy in that neighborhood. So what would you suggest someone do, once they start, because you just don't, hopefully you don't wake up one night and say, hey, I want to own a home. It's a little more of a process than that. And for most people, it's more of a transformation. It depends on, if someone in your family own it or you have people around you that can guide you, right? Mm-hmm. So for you, when someone has that thought, wake up in the middle of the night, like, hey, I think it's time for me to own a home. What would you suggest they do?
Speak with a lender first. I know, and it's
wait a minute, aren't you a realtor?
Yeah, but
you want them to speak with the lender first.
Speak with the
lender. Why would you do
first.
that?
Because a lot of people, they assume what they can afford, so they naturally start going on these third-party websites, looking at houses, and as you said, they are ready to just go inside and look. And then sometimes a realtor will actually show them the property, and they fall in love for something they really probably can't afford. Maybe they can afford even more. So the first step would be to find you a lender to, one, see if your credit is where it needs to be and what you can actually qualify for. So when you start to see houses, you actually know what you're looking for.
All right, so we're going to describe this as the boring details of buying, right? This is the stuff you guys don't want to do first, right? But this is the stuff that actually gets you the houses, right? So finding a lender, how do you find a lender? You just Google? How do you find lenders these days that, can be helpful for you?
Yeah. Now, if you do have, if you looking at houses or if you have a realtor, they can definitely recommend you lenders as well. But yeah, it's a lot of big lenders here. I always tell people, if nothing else, go to who you bank with. Some people bank with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, a lot of local lenders. If you just want to see where you are, at least start somewhere. If you don't know someone, go to your local bank. They can run your credit. They can offer you whatever terms, and you can still shop. later.
Right.
Like if you see other better deals out there, you have a 30-day shopping period that you can go to other lenders and let them do the same thing and
30
see who gives
days.
you the best deal.
Oh man, but I think you said the main thing that this is like the pivotal point for me for a lot of people. You got to pull the credit, people. Like, it's
Yes.
no way you should walk into anything without knowing what your credit profile. You cannot be shocked about what's on your
Right.
credit, right? You can't go in there and hope things are going to work out and think this lender is not going to see what's on your credit. So if you're having that feeling, the first thing you have to do is pull your own credit. Like, you get it done for free, so you know how to negotiate. So again, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for someone to put themselves in position to buy, right? You may not always get the home you want, but at least get yourself in position. But I've seen so many people, they do that, go to the lender, and they're completely shocked at what they found on their credit. And now, what are we talking about now? Now, they devastated for some people. Some people know it and just was hoping it would just change. So what do you do in those cases when, you get those people? Do you just say, look, go get your credit fixed and come back and see me? Or you kind of still, kind of work with them? What happens?
No, it's nurture. Even if your credit isn't where it needs to be, I would still say your next step is connecting with a realtor. Because if you find a good realtor, they will nurture you. So between your lender, who most of them actually have like repair people or companies signed up with them that can also tell you what to do to get your scores up. But then you can also have a realtor who can just kind of stay on top of you, make you accountable, give you advice in reference to what you need from that housing market perspective as well. So it's still good to connect, but don't be discouraged, and please don't go off of Credit Karma. I know a lot of those third party credit monitoring apps are great for,
but I get the
telling you
notification. It says, great job, your credits went up 5 points.
Yeah.
And
it's great for monitoring what's up there, maybe what's negatively
Right.
impacting your score. But if you think that that's your actual score when you actually pull your credit from a lender perspective, it could be higher, it could be lower, it will not be the same.
Right. And what we're trying to do, again, everyone who's listening, is we're trying to get you in position, because these are certainly things that you cannot get out of. Like I said, this is the boring part of buying, but you have to do this stuff, right? And it's okay, because the quicker you do it, that really sets the tone to what and when can you buy, right?
Yes.
So as Pamela stated, you get the right realtor, they will know if you're in a nurturing situation. But that's you know what? Let's go back. That's a good point. How do you know you got a good realtor? How do you know if you got a realtor that was willing to nurture you? How would you know that?
Probably the first phone call. So the minute that you call a realtor, you let them know, you're interested in purchasing a home. You let them know you got your credit pulled and it's at whatever it may be. Maybe it's at a 600. And they know in that moment, especially if they are an experienced realtor, once we hear your credit scores, we know if you are a 3, 6, 12 month or 2-year ratio type home buyer. So in that moment, if that realtor take the time to talk to you and say, hey, let's come up with a plan of XYZ, you have a good realtor, you know that realtor will nurture you along. If you hear someone say, oh yeah, the lender, yeah, they have programs for you, I would recommend you getting into that program and then contact me when you're ready, and I will be ready to sell you a house. Well, that realtor, not to say they are bad, but they're not willing to nurture you. They are looking for ready-to-go buyers.
See, that's the point, and that is the part about the boring part, right? You got to know where you're at, because this whole thing is about being in position. Because for many people, your experience, especially first-time home buyers, your experience is not going to be, I'm approved, and I'm gonna get the first house that I go out there and put a contract on. We wish, but that is not the norm, right? It will be some time, right? It will be some time where you're trying to we're not always talking about credit when you're dealing with financing. It could be anything. You're just getting some of your debt under control. There's a lot of different little nuances that could happen that hold you up from being approved for whatever home you're trying to get under. And then once you get to the marketplace, it's the wild, wild west, right? You just never know. Based on the competition, what you need to do. Is that still in your price range? Like, you did everything right to this point, but that just, it just may not put you in again, you don't want to be a prisoner of the property. We don't believe in that principle at all. So another realtor question for you. So you said there's a difference. Someone says, hey, we're going to work together on it. We're going to see through this. Or somebody say, look, it's some great programs like NACA. And when you're done in 12 months, 18 months, here's my number. It should be the same. Call me. Right? You're saying they may not be what you need at that time, because honestly, I don't like to use the word like handheld, but I do like supported, right? I think people need to, I think you brought up a big thing, accountability, right? So when if you get in that bucket of you don't have everything that first shot, right? You get the pre-approval and you're not, you got a little work to do, which is normal, right? Which is normal for most people, right? But it's normal that you may need to do a little bit, right? To not get discouraged, right? So we have seen people put in the work, and then they get to a certain point and they just quit, right? They quit on themselves because there's literally no one there trying to get them to the end, right? They know they have to complete this thing, but it to them feels like it's 100 miles away, right? And they just taking one step at a time, right? So, and again, why would a realtor want to do that? You're not making money when you nurture. Like, why would a realtor do that?
Well, that's when you start to separate the ones who are in the business from a financial perspective and probably just for their career, they want to make money. And again, it is nothing wrong with that. It's just knowing what you need and what's best for you. So there are, again, good realtors that they just focus on ready-to-go buyers. They feel like, I don't have the time to nurture someone up. You have some people who are in it not just for financial reasons. They truly want to guide and help actual people get to home ownership. Those are the realtors who will help you through the year. And again, as you said, they're not making one penny until you actually purchase a house. So if you give up, their time was put into something that they know they cannot make anything from it, but they're in it because that's their passion.
And that is a great segue to when you're trying to make that decision, right? You want to know that realtors clientele, right? Because if my clientele, if you just say you got a clientele and they're used to people with, let's just say, 750 credit scores, they looking at $500,000-$600,000 homes, like. And you're, not that, and you're not looking for that price point, that realtor doesn't align with you. Not that realtor is bad, it's just that that's just not a good alignment, right? You have to find someone that is really good in your target market, right? That's the most important part, because if that person is in that market, they're going to understand some of the problems that you already going to go through. Is that right? Okay. So that is fair to say. And back to the same thing, right? So when you have a realtor, and now the market has changed. Like before, seller paid everything. There was really no conversation around commissions, buyer. It was just like, that was a seller thing. But now, market has changed. We got a ruling, and we thought they was going to protect the buyers, and now it's turned out to hurt the buyers once again, right? So how does someone new, right, manage something like that? It's really new. Like some of them probably still don't understand those changes, right? They still think it the same way, like, so how do you kind of talk through some of those moments when you run into people?
It's mainly, and again, whether you use any realtor, if you're making a call to a realtor, some of the questions you should just ask. Truth being told, commissions they're negotiable. They always have been, but due to like all of the different lawsuits and things that happen in the market, they kind of fine-tune everything in the hope of making it better. Not quite sure it made it better. But in any case, if someone tells you, again, a realtor can have their price, right? If their price is they want 2%, 2.5, 3% of whatever that purchase price is, they can say that's their fee. Does that mean that every other realtor out there charge the same fee? No, it is negotiable. So
negotiable, people.
Yes, it's negotiable. So if you want a house and they tell you, well, the person is only offering 2%, so my fee is 3%. So the only way you can get this property is if you pay me that additional 1% commission, or, it's probably best that you don't make an offer on this property and we just go find a property that's the seller is willing to pay 3% on.
See, you just brought up the ugly side of real estate.
It's a very ugly
that
side.
Most people don't honesty. Like honestly, like they really don't understand. Like when you picking like realtors or brokerage or whoever you working with, like integrity is a huge thing, right? You think because you signed this paper and it represents you that they really have your best interests at heart. And this is not for everybody. This is just what we see in the industry, right? But what most people don't know is like based on that commission structure, some homes may not be shown. Not because it doesn't fit you, the person that's looking to buy, it's because it's just not enough money being paid out to that buyer agent, and he just won't show it, even though it may be working for you.
They will tell you because you're in agreement with them, like, hey, you will have to come out of pocket. And again, sellers have paid buyer agents commission or agreed to over so many decades. It has become a common thing. Is it something that they have to do? Absolutely not. But it's just been something that they have been doing, so it has become normal. So it's not to say a buyer should not ever have to pay a fee. Some sellers won't pay it, and you do have to. But just knowing and understanding that whatever fee you agree to with your realtor up front, just understand the obligations that come to that. Ask the question, is this negotiable? What if I get in a situation where you are saying 2.5% in this buyer agency agreement, but let's just say the seller is only offering 1.5–2%. Are you going to charge me the overage, or are you willing to work with me as your client to come down to that price or meet me in the middle?
Look, somebody better be writing this down. Like, this is what you need to know in today's market, because this is the stuff, like, they make it seem simple. You go on Redfin, you can look at your home, and you think agent, somebody email you or whatever, right? Or you see any realtor, give you a card, but they're not the same anyway. Like, they're not the same, and you need to do your homework. And for most people, what we're trying to do is protect you guys, right? If you're going to make the biggest financial decision in your life, you need to do your research, right? You need to, you don't need to rush into it. You need to figure out, is that the right person for you, right? Making sure they're giving you the right information for you to make the best decision for you and your family, right? That's what it comes down to. And they're different, right? And it's no right or wrong. Like you said, different ages do different things. You just got to find the right one for you.
Yes.
We'll wrap this up with some of the other stuff I've seen. Because again, guys, this is about protecting the first-time home buyer, right? We also seen when, just say pre-approval didn't go well. The buyer said, I ain't got nothing, look, come back to me in another, 8 to 12 months. Well, some other people step in and they don't really have the best intentions either, right? And they're still having them going out, looking at houses, getting them commit, finding, other lending sources that are expensive just to close the deal. Like, have you seen a lot of that in the market as well?
Oh, yeah, because, again, if someone's, now, realtors, a lot of them are commission based, right? If they don't sell houses, then they don't have a paycheck. So it is a sense of like they have to continue to get those houses done. So a lot of times, like if you're saying you want to own a home, they're trying to find you any way possible to get you in at home, even if it's not necessarily. You just have to make sure it's in your best interest. There are lenders out there that will do probably 580 credit score, if you're able to put down a certain amount of money. That will definitely come with a much higher interest rate. So again, just because you're able to get pre-approved, you also have to make sure the terms make sense for you, because there are, as you said, other options out there you can quickly find yourself in, and then once you close and get those keys, you are responsible for it. So you just have to make sure you're putting yourself in the best position regardless of whatever guidance someone else is trying to give you.
See, this is real talking real estate. We're not holding back, because this is what happens, right? They're playing on your emotion. For most people, that's an emotional thing to buy a home, right? It means a lot. It's not like you just bought a just something material like a car. Like, this is something that's going to be with you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, maybe in your family for 100 years, right? Depends on what you do with it, right? And they play on their emotions. And like you said, we all been there. We've seen it, but to your point, like, in real estate, let's just be real. It's always a deal to be made.
Always.
Like, now the question is, should you make it?
Right, because there's lenders out there, guys. A lot of that, what you're saying too, come more so from the lenders necessarily than a realtor, where if you tell them, they will find some company, some mortgage broker that will definitely cut you a deal. And if you have the money to do it, it can be done. And again,
Right.
if you're able to refinance out and stick with it a year and get a better rate later, again, it may work for you. But the whole guidance is making sure your lender, your realtor, and any other support system you have is their whole goal is your best interest. If you start to feel like it's not in your best interest, do not feel obligated to anyone. You can get out of any agency agreement and you can go to any new lender. Don't just go for something just to go for it.
Oh man, look, you brought it on down because that's just the truth. Like in a perfect situation, you would love to have your lender and realtor align, right?
Yes.
That don't always happen, but it's nice when that does happen. But again, some of the things that people don't understand, like you said, it's really not the realtor, because at the end of the day, the realtor can make recommendations of, hey, here's a mortgage place you can go to. He can't, he can't counsel you on doing that or not, right? But once you get into that mortgage situation, that's another whole other world. Right? And to your point, they will find a product for you, right? If if you want a product, they will find one for you. And like I said, and then you again have to be in a position where you are like protecting yourself, and you have to understand these things, because you can't blame your realtor if you're the one signing the mortgage. Like the realtor is not signing the mortgage, you are, right? You know how much you can afford. You know what your life looks like when that thing closes. How does this change my financial outlook going forward, right? That's your decision. You can't blame the realtor for that, right? Now, if the realtor give you a bad deal on a home that, we had a lot of work and, we missed some things or stuff of that nature, that's a little different conversation, right? But we're gonna wrap these things up, because again, this has been a really good real talk. So we're gonna be doing this every week about anything hot topics. I mean, you guys hit me up all the time about getting right to the real estate, right? We're gonna do that. So any closing, Pam? Anything else on this topic that you just want people to know when they're out there starting for the first time? It's gonna be people this weekend. It's hot outside. They're gonna want a new house.
Yeah, and again, nothing wrong with going to your open houses and stuff, guys. But please do not start clicking the go see these properties, and then you're just running out there just seeing them. Do not feel bad if it's certain realtors who will say, I want to make sure you're pre-approved first. It's not they are just looking for financing. They are also trying to keep you in it. Like, you shouldn't just be going out there seeing houses when you have no idea what you can afford. Open houses just to see what's out there, fine. But when you really get to the point that you are ready, you should be qualified. So even for me, as much as I love nurturing people, I definitely would rather talk to you, put you on a plan, make sure you're ready to go. And if you are, I am happy to get those showings scheduled for you. But if you are not, I want you to know where you are before you get out there and start falling in love with properties that you may not be able to purchase.
And just like that, real talk, something we all believe in, that, especially at Pursuit to Own. Like, your journey does not start with the property. It starts with the person. You got to get that person ready before you get to the property. Well, Pam, this has been a fabulous kickoff to Real Talk and Real Estate. We'll be coming back with some more hot topics, like I said, next week. But in the meantime, to the next time, stay in pursuit. Let's go. You were listening to the Pursuit to Own podcast. If today's episode inspired you, don't stop here. Take the next step toward owning your future. Visit pursuitToOwn.com to sign up and join our growing community of wealth builders. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Pursuit to Own for updates, tips, and success stories. Together, we're turning dreams into assets. Until next time, stay in pursuit.